Man, Christmas is just 3 days away? That's pretty close. Hello from Diva. Sorry in advance, Rambler. I think everyone's got a relative who's always buying them clothes, so has no idea what they like. Well, sent this cutesy thing, and that's not me. So she gets a thank you card, and you get the gear. Do whatever with it. I mean, you could always just sell it, but... Alright, whatever. Flower sweater. Hey, yeah, that's not Diva. That's not Diva at all. Even I know that one. Jeez. My throat is a bit blah. Diva! Hey, girl. Hey there, Night Flyer. How goes, King? I want chat. Just invite sometime. It's not new. Tart Tatin. I don't know what that is. Norma, I feel like you're staring at me. I'm sorry, I just want to say hi. Just want to be like, hi, how it go? Egg. Ah. Yeah, I don't really know what to yap about today. I have been doing a fair bit. And, man, when the Wi-Fi was down, I sure was bored. Steven, how are you, Tall Nut? What's latest? Oh, midway through A Sailor's Tragedy. Such a great book. I bet it's about tragedy. Of the sailing variety. Which kind of plays into something I was doing today. I finally, for the first time in forever, poked back into World of Warships. Well, I say forever. I poked back into it, like, a few months ago. Back around when they first started their 10-year anniversary stuff. So I think that was like November, September, maybe October, somewhere in that range. And I played a little bit. It was nice for a bit, and then I was just like, eh. Player base kind of drove me away again. And it's kind of already done that again. Because, you know, gotta love jerks being jerks, just making me not want to play the game. This instance was somebody in Asymmetrics playing from what people in the help chat are saying is currently the most overpowered ship in the game. I don't see it, but okay. I can think of many others at its own tier even that are stronger than it, but you know. They were playing this. I was playing Karl IV Johann. And this person was going out of their way to intentionally get in my way. Once they eventually loaded and actually, you know, started helping. And I feel like they were more just taking issue with the fact that my ship was clearly better than theirs. Honestly, my ship being one that, yeah. This is, I don't know how to pronounce it, and I don't even remember the spelling of it. I just remember the front of its name started with Val, and it's a Pan-American battleship. It was like Vallejo or something like that. I might be thinking of another ship for Vallejo or whatever, but it started with Val. Everyone's been talking about it being really powerful because it has a lot of specialized repair parties. And it does have a lot of those things. Jeez, Dung Beetle, you're really putting in the work today. But, that's about all it's got. It's got 8 380s on a pretty normal reload. On a tier 9. AP only. So it basically has the firepower of, like, Bayern, a tier 6. On a kind of fragile looking hull, but it has a lot of super heals. I'm just not seeing it. So close. Yeah, I think his head needed to be a little bigger based on the other one. That was close, though. A lot of shooting stars tonight. But yeah, that just kind of made me go, nah, I'm kind of done for now. Might play it again tomorrow. Sparkles, hope you love hanging out at my place today. Let's chat. You know that I have a pet? Oh, never told you? Her name is Pinky. She's a horned dinosaur. Caught her when she was fighting with another bug. Named her Pinky so no one will want to fight with her since she's so lovable. They really like naming bugs after themselves. I mean, that's fair. I mean, as a joke, I've named / nicknamed things Steve, which, you know, is a nickname that I get a lot. Gonna be real though, it's one I'm not the most fond of. You know, there are definitely nicknames for Steven that I have gotten that are kind of more annoying to deal with. But yeah. Not that I hate that nickname. Like, I don't mind it, but, like, it's not my favorite nickname I've gotten. Honestly, I don't think I've got a favorite nickname that I've been given over the years. But, yeah. While bored with no internet, I, basically went through and played just about everything on the Switch that I've got that I could play with no internet. So my, like, home page on my Switch is so weird right now. Like, right next to this is Pokemon Unite, because when the internet came back, which it did yesterday, it came back last night, literally at, like, 7. So it was out for about, like, 12, 13 hours, which sucked. It's one of those cases of, like, it would have been better if, at least better in my mind, if just the whole power had been out the whole time, because then, like, then it's a case of, like, we would have known it was an outage, but where it was just the internet, it's like, okay, is that an issue with, you know, did the power outage damage our modem? Did, you know, it running out of battery damage it? Because it does have a battery to it. Its battery has about 85% capacity left. You know, it'll only charge up to about 85. Sorry, is he focused on this? What are you doing? Currently crafting an illuminated reindeer. See how I do at it. I don't want to see about making that, so yeah. That could be nice to have outside. In a few places. Depending on its size. 2 by 1. So not big enough. That's the problem. Things need to be big. Can you, like... Hold on. There's no, like... Alphabetical order obtained series. Yeah, that doesn't help. Go back to series. I think that's the default. Because, like, I need 3 by blank items. So I need big ones. I need the big boys going on, but there's none of these that are big boys. Even this it's big, but it's only 2 by 2. If it was 3 by 3, then we'd be talking. Because then it would be worth 1 whole point. Frick yeah. Yeah, I will say, from poking the offline mode of Pokemon Unite, they really need to implement that into the main game. Because those bots can play just about everything. Literally, first battle, one of them pulled a Mega Gyarados out. Like... Hey there, my fabulous bestie. Feel like our day is just getting started. Just because it is. I'm on a mission today. Scout hasn't stopped until she's taken a choice selfie with every Nook phone filter. All about the pop filter lately. It makes any food pic look 5 times yummier. I've done the math. It also makes food stains look 5 times more embarrassing. I've got to stop batch uploading my lunch photos without checking them first. What? does the pop filter do? Do I even have the filters? Pop. I mean... Oh, geez, it's so bright. Monochrome. It was at that moment. No. Antique. It's like monochrome, but... beige. Oh, this does not look good. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of, like, having frame generation turned on at a high base frame rate. Everything just starts looking like this. Because there's so many frames in the game itself that it just starts losing everything. Retro! But this doesn't look retro. This looks fuzzy. Surveillance. This is what the flamingo surveillance system sees. Whoa. Got a dumpy going on there, Pinky. I got a really big head. Normal. I've never messed with those before. You can get some frames. Get a date. I'm gonna go. I can't go with the camera up. I have never messed with those before. I mean, they're neat. I just don't really see the appeal of it. Like, call me crazy, but I just don't see the appeal of the camera filters. But I don't see the appeal of them in real life either, to be fair. So, Hazel! Why do we only really ever see you in the shops? Hey there, Steven. On the hunt for a new style, came to the right place. Stuff here changes up every day, so it's a cinch to keep your wardrobe fresh. You know, wow! One chat. I'm coming here for a bit of retail therapy. It might lift my mood. Everything looks so good that I'm getting anxious just trying to pick something. Aw. Well, you could go with the Christmas dress. Fancy coat. Get a football helmet. Go with your sports. Trying to think of other things. Okay, this thing's kind of cute. No. I think this is like the closest to a ball cap I'd ever wear, but even then, no. I just don't like ball caps, man. They look bad. I spent a good chunk of today playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Of all things. Steven, I just wanted to say thank you for always being there to help Label. She talks with you all the time, you know. She says the outfits you pick out are always super inspiring. Then she runs back here and starts sketching furiously. It's wonderful to see. It's much for all three of us. Thank you from the roots of my quills. You know, it's gonna actually work well into their story going into New Leaf. Because, you know, the shop starts with just Sable and Mabel again. And then Label comes and actually sets up shop after having studied design for a long time. So, you know, it works. It works going backwards. It also works going forwards, but you know what I mean. But yeah, I spent a good chunk of today just playing Yu-Gi-Oh! With some folks from the 8-Bit Discord. It was a lot of fun. Though most of it was just me playing solo mode stuff, well, yapping with them. It was still fun. I will say, the freaking, Flame Veil, solo mode is freaking difficult, man. They have combos. They know how to do the combos. And they blow everything up. They're like Arby's. Their food keeps blowing up. And I just don't get it. They just keep blowing up all their fried chicken, and it's just explosions. Nice to see you, Steven. Looking perf as ever. It's the latest. I lost my voice. I was trying to be a heavy metal singer instead of a pop star. I'm so not metal. Aww. Yee. You're so cute. Muffy. There, Night Flyer. How goes, Fagoo? One check. Sometimes I get a craving for Caesar salad and nothing else will do. Well, I make a mean Caesar salad. I don't remember if I've talked with Marina yet today. I'm gonna talk with her again anyway. Let's talk. You start thinking about what to get everyone for Toy Day yet? Whatever it is, you want to wrap it nicely. Don't wait till the last minute to do your shopping. I've been buying a bunch of toys, but I still don't... Like, they keep telling me I need to have stuff and have it wrapped, but like... From reading the wiki, I don't? I'm so confused. CJ, help. Actually, don't. You're probably just as confused as I am, my man. But, yeah, it was a lot of fun. It reminded me that I do also kind of need to get some updated decks going on, because, like... My suit ships work, but they're not the best. They are cheap, which is why I built them. But that's really about it. Like, they're pretty cheap. They're pretty cheap. They are fish, after all. But, like, losing, like, 4 or 5 times with the sous ship deck versus the Flame Veil bot. Yeah, most modern decks can do a lot more than Flame Veils do. Or not Flame Veils. Fire Kings. Why do I keep calling them Flame Veils? The Flame Veil one sucks. Fire Kings. The Fire Kings are the ones that blow everything up. I fought both of them today. It's the Fire Kings. That's the one that's difficult. Some water. Some water. Some Waluigi time. I can't really do a Waluigi. I can kind of do a Mario, but... Okay, I was gonna say I can't do a good one. I could do a better one than Chris Pratt does. I think we can all agree Chris Pratt does not do a good Mario, because he doesn't do a Mario. He just talks. He doesn't do the, like, let's go. Which, if he at least tried, I wouldn't mind, but he doesn't even try. He just is himself. And I know he's just himself. Because I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy. I've heard Chris Pratt just being Chris Pratt. When he was cast as Star-Lord. And, I mean, he kind of works as Star-Lord. Star-Lord's just an average dude. Like, it works. But what doesn't work is Mario. Because Mario is not just your average everyday dude. There's 2 ways you can do a Mario. And that is the traditional Mario, the Charles Martinet, let's go. You know, that sort of thing. Or give him like an, hey, I'm walking here, New York accent. Like, those are the ways you do it, because he's a New Yorker. So, you know. Buy more wrapping paper. You do one or the other. I've already got purple. I know I've already got purple. Like, those are your options. And Chris Pratt does neither of them. The new official voice of Mario, I'm still not sold on. Like, nothing against that voice actor. Like, all the love to that voice actor. He's doing an adequate job. But, like, man, is he just not Charles. Like, that's the problem. He's just not Charles. And when, you know, I grew up with Charles Martinet as Mario and Luigi and Wario and Waluigi, like, those voices are just them. That's been their voice for so long that it just feels wrong to not have that voice anymore. And not that I was hoping these people would lose their jobs. I was hoping they would just get recast as different Mario characters. I was kind of hoping Nintendo would realize that themselves and go, ooh, Charles, hey! Assuming, as always, assuming that this wasn't actually Charles Martinet's decision. Because, with how the Mario movie went, of Charles Martinet voicing Mario's father, more or less, giving that send-off to Mario. It's hard to know if that was actually Martinet's choice or not, because he's not said. He's probably under an NDA, so he probably can't say. Here's for a challenge. Small fries. Alright. I can catch small fries. Yeah, I know. We've been through this many times, CJ. I am fully aware of how all this works. And I know I've gone on this little ramble before, but, it's one of those things where, even, Peach's voice is not... It's not Peach. It's close. It's, at least, it's the same with the new Mario V8. They're trying. They're trying to be close. And, they're doing okay, but I want the original voices, man. Is that really so bad? Especially where other shows and franchise have made this work. I know I've talked about this before, but the voice actress who did the voice for the computer in Star Trek recorded so many extra lines over the years that after she passed away, they still had everything they could ever need to just keep her voice as the computer. They thought ahead. They got everything they could ever need recorded while she was around, so that they never have to change that voice. And I'm pretty sure they did in Discovery, because Discovery is an STD on that franchise. They were telling us with the naming scheme of the freaking show, which I will always find funny, how the Discovery quote-unquote fans, a lot of them I don't think watched the actual show, though I'm sure some of them did. I don't want to yuck people's yum. If you like Star Trek Discovery, thumbs up. Power to you. I wish I could. I have way too much of an analytical brain to like that show. And what I mean by that is I've watched too many other Star Trek things, and there are way too many little details in Discovery that ruin Discovery. The biggest offender is the spore drive. That is the biggest offender. I'm just gonna be right out and say it. That is the biggest offender. Because, the easiest way I can describe it to those who don't understand why it's such a big problem. Imagine modern day. Aliens invade us. They start absolutely dominating us. And then it's, and we get absolutely crushed because we never used nuclear weapons against them, and that would have won us the fight against these aliens. Hello, Sky. Oh, Steven. Here's the thing. New volume of my favorite series just came out, but I can't afford to buy it right now. I can sell a few things out, need to earn some money. There are 4 things I can part with. Yeah, I'll consider it. But, just imagine that. We didn't use nukes. Because somehow every single person has collectively forgotten nukes even exist. What else you got? What else you got? Sold. Because I get the feeling that's the most money I'm going to be able to give you. That's effectively what Star Trek Discovery made the canon. That everybody just collectively forgot about this super weapon in the background. Because the Spore Drive is instantaneous teleportation. You can be anywhere with the use of a Spore Drive. So when the Dominion were attacking and absolutely crushing the Federation, like, yeah, the Spore Drive, they tried to explain away why no one could use it anymore by it was destroying the universe itself. But this is an extreme situation. And warp drives themselves destroy the very fabric of the universe. So, at least going faster than Warp 5, this was a plot point. It was them trying to be eco-friendly and, you know, that sort of thing. But it was a plot point. You could not go faster than Warp 5. That was a speed limit imposed by the Federation on all Federation vessels. They were to not go past Warp 5 unless they absolutely had to. Which is stupid. But it was being done because, you know, the warp drives are destroying the very fabric of the universe. And it's causing various various solar systems to not be warp capable anymore. Later series explained that away by those systems were actually testing grounds for Omega particles, and the Federation just needed some scapegoats, so they used warp speed, which is why captains were allowed to break the speed limit by their own discretion, and, you know. But, ooh, my mic was doing a lot of weird white noise there for a second. But, like, during the Dominion War, when the Federation were losing billions of innocent lives to the Dominion's cruel advance, why did they not bring Spore Drives out of mothballs and begin using them? Better question, when Voyager got lost in the Delta Quadrant, why did they not, instead of just basically telling them, good luck, dig a Spore Drive out of storage, or a pair of them out of storage, fit one onto a ship, and then bring the equipment to fit one onto Voyager so you can just bring both home? And I know the response there is because that would defeat the purpose of the show. And I agree. But the fact that Discovery is set before Deep Space Nine in the timeline, before Voyager in the timeline, it causes those shows to no longer make sense. Now, if they had just set Discovery post DS9, fine. Have your teleporter. Like, it would have still been stupid and render so many situations just nowhere near as tense as they should be. But sure, you know, you're ahead in the timeline. Do whatever you want. But Discovery is set before the Next Generation, but after Kirk. There's only like a 10-year gap in there. Literally, I'm pretty sure, based on the timeline, though I could be slightly off on this, Picard would have been in charge of the Stargazer during Discovery. Like, he would have been a commanding officer during the time of Discovery. Star Trek Discovery, that is. Not the Age of Discovery. That was, you know, that's like the, what, 1400s? 1500s? It's a long time ago. And Star Trek's in the far future. But, like... That's, you know... Yeah, I've just gotten this ranting about Star Trek. I'm a dork, can you tell? It doesn't help that I just recently, had someone reply to a comment I left on a Star Trek video, like, well over a year ago. Oh, they're so cute! They're kind of desperate. Alright, I mean, I can see if I can get one. Maybe get one? Hope, you know, catch one's been eating me up inside. Alright, I guess that's what we're gonna do for the rest of today, and I gotta help her with it. Which basically means I just gotta farm some stumps. Yeah, I've done it. I caught some fish. Basically, and this comment was me basically pointing out that, like, it was basically someone who initially was saying, the Klingons probably wouldn't have fared even anywhere near as good as the Federation did versus the Borg. And I feel they would have done better. Let's see. I got 2 red snappers. I'm gonna say 17,000 bells. Hey! I'm getting good at this! That's 2 in a row! Frick yeah! Oh! Yes! Yes, yes, yes! I'm getting good at this! That was just luck. That was pure luck. That was like no judgment. Well, it was some judgment. I knew the red snappers meant it was going to be more expensive. But basically, my thought process on why I feel the Klingons would actually have fared better against the Borg comes down to the Klingons' willingness to ram something. And when a warp core explodes, bad things happen to things directly around that warp core. A warp core breach is enough to basically vaporize a ship. It removes it from existence. So imagine, if you will, a warp-capable shuttle. Crew of 1 person being flung into a Borg cube at maximum warp. Not only is this going to cause a catastrophic warp core failure inside that cube, because there's nothing the Borg can do to stop that, but it also basically risks nothing. It's 1 person. 1 warrior who is going to be honored for the rest of eternity for pulling that off. Because that's going to have destroyed that cube. Wouldn't you want to be the warrior who destroyed a cube by himself? At the cost of his own life, but I'd want to be that warrior. You're going to be remembered forever. And that's what Klingons care about. That your honor in ramming your shuttle at maximum warp into that cube and annihilating it, doing what a fleet couldn't do, is gonna have you in those history books forever. There's gonna be songs about you. Poets are going to be singing your praises. Like, you don't get that from the Federation. The Federation would probably find some way to bring that person back so that they could scold them for wasting a shuttle. Even though it saved a fleet. It's a nice citrus longhorn beetle. It is. Nice work, Rambler. Never doubted you for a second. Some shades. Some triangle shades. I don't really need triangle shades, but... Bam. I'm a bad biscuit. Nah, I'm gonna put these back on. They actually look fine with these eyes. It's just the other... They still look weird, and it's because you don't have eyebrows. You just don't have eyebrows. How have I never noticed that the Animal Crossing characters just don't have eyebrows? Animals have eyebrows. Like, Marna has some eyebrows going on. Muffy doesn't. Sky doesn't. But Marna does. I mean, they're not exactly eyebrows, but they're close. They're in the right spot. But, yeah, like... I basically made mention how, like, probably the ultimate weapon in all of Star Trek would be weaponized antimatter, which is what causes a warp core breach to be so devastating. And this person replied with, well, they tried antimatter during, what's that episode called? Best of Both Worlds? It'll probably be right close. Where? Oh, it shouldn't be this far back. Did they delete their comment or something? Or is YouTube just not telling me about it anymore? There it is. Yeah, Best of Both Worlds. But there's a few things with that. One, they weren't intentionally trying to damage the cube with the antimatter pulses. They were putting on an antimatter fireworks show. And they needed the yield to be small enough so that it wouldn't damage the shuttle that was flying through it. That's the problem number 2 with what they were doing. This shuttle needed to be able to get through it to get close enough to the cube to transport an away team onto the cube to rescue Picard / Locutus. Kind of spoiling the episode, but it's a, 40, 50-year-old TV show? If you wanted to watch it, you probably have by now. And if you still want to watch it, you still don't know the rest of what's going on. You just know they're rescuing him. The Borg have him. But what they were using was tiny, nearly individual particles of antimatter being fired from the phaser arrays. And these minuscule amounts were still causing massive explosions in space as the antimatter was eating things around it, before it eventually fizzled out as any reaction would. If they had actually fired a warp core's worth of antimatter at that cube, it would have ceased existing because it would have been eaten by the antimatter, as with everything around the cube in its general vicinity. Like, an antimatter explosion in a nebula, there is no nebula anymore. It's gone. Like, antimatter in the Star Trek universe is scary stuff. And then you get the EVE Online universe where it's railgun ammo. It's the close range railgun ammo. It just means it's a heavier projectile. It can't be lobbed as far through space because weight somehow has a bearing on this stuff in space somehow. It's a game balancing feature. In reality, it would go just as far as every other shot from a railgun. But, you know, that's part of the reason why I feel that the EVE Online universe would always win that fight between Star Trek and EVE Online, even if both had comparable ship production, just simply because the EVE Online universe has weaponized antimatter and the Star Trek universe hasn't. They can use it defensively to put up like sensor screens, which is neat. That is a use for antimatter that New Eden doesn't have, until they saw the Federation doing it, in which case they would start doing it too, on a larger scale. I could just envision like a fleet of frigates, like EVE Online frigates, just blanket shielding sensors from going past a certain area, just blinding the Federation entirely, while they amassed like a capital fleet behind the shield. But yeah, I know I was yapping about other stuff, but I don't remember what that was now, and I've also been recording for over 40 minutes, so I should probably get this ended off. Thank you all very much for watching, and hopefully I shall see you back here tomorrow for more Animal Crossing New Horizons as Toy Day quickly approaches. See you all then.